The following program is produced by Londonderry residents. The views and opinions expressed are not necessarily the views and opinions of the LACTV staff or its volunteers, and should not be considered an endorsement by CTV20 or its staff and volunteers.
Welcome, Londonderry. This is the new show brought to you by four of your representatives here from Londonderry. The show is called Concord Conversations. The premise of the show is to bring you information about what goes on between town, county, and state. My name is Doug Thomas. I'm your host for today. The other hosts from time to time will be Representative Tom Dolan, Representative Wayne McDonald, and Speaker Sherm Packard. For myself, this is my first time ever hosting a show, but between the four of us, we will be rotating from time to time with various people. Some shows may be a half hour, some may be an hour, depending on who we have here to come. Want people to know that we want you to know what we do in Concord, and also the fact that we also oversee the county budget as well. So we'll be having people coming in from there as well. For myself, I've been a representative. I'm starting my 10th year shortly, and I was interested in giving back to the town. It's a great town. We have great people running the town. We love the town, and we want to keep it that way. And so we're very interested in bringing good things to this town, a good place to bring people up bring kids up and everything like that. I've been a New Hampshire resident since I was 9 years old, so I pretty much know New Hampshire. Grew up in the upper northern part of the state, and I also went to school with Governor Meldrum Thompson's kids. So I'm kind of been associated with politics off and on for several years after coming out of the Air Force, working down at Hanscom Air Force Base, and then deciding that this was a good time for me to give back to the community. I am currently the vice chair of the House Science, Technology, and Energy Committee, and we're looking after you to make sure that your electric rates don't go up any higher, and always looking for ways to reduce your electric bills while at the same time providing good power capability to our citizens in the state and New England. With that intro, I'm going to pass it on to Speaker Sherm Packard, and he'll say a few words. By the way, you might notice that there's a pin right here. This is called the Speaker's Pin. Speaker Packard designed it. It's a very unique pin. We'll be showing it up behind us here shortly. It's something that we wear in support of the speaker's endeavors, and it's truly something that's truly unique. So be on the lookout for that one. Speaker.
Thank you, Doug. Well, good morning, Londonderry. Just a brief history of myself, and then we can go into a few other things. I am a New Hampshire native. I was born and brought up in Manchester, and I moved to Londonderry exactly 50 years ago this year. So I've been in town for 50 years, moved here in 1973. I'm a retired small business owner. I used to do automotive upholstery, and now I'm the first Speaker of the House from Londonderry, which is quite an honor. And we can get into a little bit more later. Right now, the biggest thing we're working on, obviously, is the state budget. It's got a tremendous amount of components to it, and we're hoping to be bringing you another show in a couple of weeks so that we can break it down for you. It does a lot of things. It's about $15 billion, and there's a lot of innovative things in there that we're doing to try and help the state. One of the biggest things is we're looking at giving the state employees a 10% pay raise, and I know that sounds like a lot, but at this point in time, we're also down around 20% of our state employees that we funded for, and we just can't find the people to come into state government and run the state government for us. So we're talking plow drivers, we're talking people at the Division of Motor Vehicles, we're talking people at Health and Human Services. All these agencies are down quite a few people, And you know, if we're going to continue to have the wonderful state we have and continue on doing the services for the citizens, then obviously we've got to make some changes, and we're hoping this will help us make changes. Yeah, I mean, in the prisons alone, we're down a tremendous amount of guards in the prisons, and some of those guards are working double and triple overtime just to make sure that you know, they have protection. So we have some serious problems. We're trying to address and deal with them, and at our next session, we can have a whole list of things that we are doing for the people of New Hampshire.
Thank you, Sherm. Wayne, tell us a little about yourself and what you're presently doing.
Thank you, Doug. My name is Wayne McDonald. I'm in my second term in the New Hampshire House of Representatives from here in Londonderry. I ran in 2020 and was reelected in 2022. Thank you, Londonderry, for the opportunities on both occasions. For many years, I was in the window manufacturing business. Eventually went into state government for 23 years at the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services, where I was the senior fraud investigator, investigating and ultimately, in many cases, prosecuting or settling welfare fraud cases. 2,339 to be exact, 211 which were convictions. It was very satisfying work for the most part. I retired in 2019, almost exactly 4 years ago this month. And after decades also of having been in politics and recruiting and training and advising and managing campaigns, I decided to run myself and again won in 2020. I've had the privilege of serving as the Vice Chairman of Election Law in my first term, as the Clerk of the Redistricting Committee, a Special Committee on Redistricting, and I'm currently the Chairman of the Health and Human Services and Elderly Affairs Committee in the House. It's a very complicated committee. Healthcare is always very complicated, especially in this day and age. We may be getting into it later because it's a budget-related issue, but one of the components has been in House Bill 2, Medicaid expansion, and how that's going to be handled. The effort has been made by our committee, and it's difficult because there's competing views and the House is very evenly divided. But the goal has been to make sure that we make sure, given the importance of Medicaid expansion, that we keep a close eye on it. The healthcare industry is always changing, human needs are always changing, and we want to make sure that we review the program on a regular basis. And we've been trying to determine what that appropriate review period should be. So that's one of the many issues I've dealt with, and along many others, and I can't begin to get into the hours of testimony of the complexity of the issues, but it's an important committee. All of the committees in the House are important. This one is difficult, and certainly given the healthcare challenges has been something that we continue to work on. So, thank you.
Thanks, Wayne. Tom, you've been in town a long time. You've even had some council work at the town. Tell us about that and other things that brought you to this state rep position now.
Sure, thank you, Doug. Yeah, I've been here not quite as long as the speaker, but I've been in Londonderry since 1986, and I came from a military service background with the emphasis on service, and that's been one of my hallmarks, is just try to serve the community, either my country or the community in which I reside. Coming to Londonderry, I came at a point in time when, if you remember, a councilman named Larry O'Neill, I took my cue from him, and when he resigned, I ran for his seat back in the year the towers fell, back in 9/11. It's been a long time since then, but I've been on the council basically since then, and very proud of my community. We've done I think a great job. This community, proud of one of the reasons why we moved here is we picked a community that had great schools, who had a great town government, kept the taxes under control. So I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to be proud of that, so I joined local government at after asking for your votes, in which you gave me, and worked very hard to make sure that the government paid its bills, never overspent, never had an unbalanced budget. And so I'm very proud of where Londonderry has been and where they continue to go. And I hope that, that they continue their success here in Londonderry. In fact, one of our goals here with this group is we're going to be inviting in members of local government to meet with you and to talk about what they're doing, as well as other representatives from around the state. And given the time of the year, with the First in the Nation primary, from time to time we'll be inviting in maybe some prospective candidates for higher office, for a chance to meet them and to hear what they have to say. Right now I'm serving on the Executive Departments and Administration Committee in Concord as one position that I have. The Speaker has asked for my special help, being the chair of the Committee on Commissions, and you're wondering, what is that? Well, we have too many commissions in the state. We all agree on that in Concord, and so we're going to try to pare those down and make government more efficient and more cost-effective, taking some of that cost out. These are the commissions that often are put in place, but sometimes they don't meet very frequently, or maybe not even at all. So we're going through that with a fine-tooth comb, and we're filtering out those committees that have served a life, maybe had a good mission at one time, but may not be effective or may not even be needed at all anymore. So we're going through that process right now as we speak.
Thanks, Tom. Tom, I'm glad you mentioned the county, because I believe that what most people don't know is that when you are elected as the state rep from your district, you are automatically put onto a subcommittee, because we also oversee the county budget with the various agencies within the county. For instance, when I was first elected, I was put onto the county attorney's subcommittee to oversee Pat Conway's budget at the time. And then I did pull a stint on the the county sheriff's subcommittee to oversee that as well. Currently, I sit on as a vice chair of the executive committee of the Rockingham County delegation. We're very proud of Rockingham County, because Rockingham County, in my opinion, is the best run county in the state. We've had minimum increases in county taxes. We have an efficient form of government, and we have strong, dedicated people, both for registry of deeds, county sheriff, county attorney, the county treasurer, and all the people in the nursing facilities, and all down through those areas work very hard to keep us going. And I'm very proud of the fact that we've kept our finances under control, and that we are judged as one of the best counties in the state. So I'd like to point that out.
If I could just jump in for a second.
Go ahead.
I think Rockingham County Nursing Home was the only nursing home in the state during the pandemic that had no deaths related to COVID.
That's right. That's right. Very well-run county. So that's something that most people don't realize, that we also have responsibility for that as well.
Well, we actually, not only do we have responsibility for it, but we are the final vote on the county budget. I'm also the vice chairman of the county convention, and I know Wayne sits on the executive committee with us. So, we have a very, very large say in, what happens, with the county and the county budget. And it works the same way as it usually does in the state. The departments submit their budget to the county commissioners, and then the county commissioners sit there, give their budget to us, and then we're the determining factor on what that budget is. And we are one of the, probably considered the best run counties in the state. We have been for quite a while. But we also have our problems. And just in a nursing home alone, right now, we have 125 vacancies. And that, we have to pay the traveling nurses, just to be able to take care of the patients in the nursing home. And I know in the jail, we're down quite a few, I think 30 or 35 county jail people, the guards. And so it's been a real problem in the county, as it has been in the state, on attracting people to come into county government so that we can, you know, run the government efficiently and take care of the citizens' needs that need to be taken care of.
Yeah, well, one of the things, if I could jump in on that also, is I think one of the things we consider ourselves as representatives, we consider ourselves facilitators especially for success. At the county level, as the speaker mentioned, we have a lot of vacancies in the nursing home arena, and we have a special program in the county for tuition assistance and for bonuses and things like that to recruit more nurses. And any of us can help get those individuals who are thinking about that as a career choice or a career change. We can help you get in touch with the right people if you want to get into that field in our nursing environment and make some more money in terms of bonuses or premium pay or whatever. We can help facilitate that and help you succeed in that regard. So please don't hesitate to call on us, any of us, and that includes one of the members that's not here today, Dave Lundgren. He's a chiropractor in town, a long time state rep, and he's also positioned well to help out people that need it.
That's right. I'm glad you mentioned Representative Dave Lundgren. He is going to be the other one of our hosts here from time to time. With his schedule helping people in his business, he couldn't make it at the showing, but he will be here from time to time and be one of our other of the 5 hosts going. Wayne, since you head the HHS committee going on right now, can you speak a little bit about what's going on there and in relationship to the county as well, try and bring both together?
Sure. Well, we had 53 bills in Health and Human Services when the term began, or the session began back in January. We have dealt with 39 of those bills. 14 were retained, which means we're keeping them for further study. We're in the process of forming subcommittees right now to deal with a number of those issues. And that, again, as I mentioned earlier, the committee has some challenging issues that it has to deal with, and rightly so. Some of them involve gender reassignment surgery. Some of them involve pilot programs for Health and Human Services in terms of developmental disabilities. Some of them, again, deal with Medicaid expansion in one form or another. And some of them, of course, and we've also had to deal with a number of bills that came over from the Senate. Medicaid expansion in particular was that bill, Senate Bill 263. So it's been and again, the committee is 10 to 10, so we have 10 Republicans, 10 Democrats. We have a lot of lively discussions. On the whole, we get along well. We don't always agree. There's a number of bills that sail through. There's a number of bills that do not, and you know, we're in the process of working those out, and subcommittees are going to be one of the ways we do that. Going on to the county, I'm privileged to serve as the chairman of the, I'm not sure the exact name of the subcommittee, but it's got 5 parts to it. One deals with county commissioners and their budget. One deals with the county treasurer. One deals with general government. One deals with the county treasurer, and I'm trying to remember the other one. I think it's general government, no, grants, I believe it is. And it's a new experience for me. My first term, I served with Representative Thomas on the county attorney subcommittee. Having been involved in investigation and prosecution of fraud for many years, it was really a good fit for me. At the same time, when this opportunity came along, I decided I'd assume the chairmanship of this subcommittee. I know the county commissioners fairly well. I know the county treasurer. I know many of the people in county government. Things are going very smoothly. People pretty much, the meetings have been pretty cordial and pretty smooth, and ultimately we expect the budget process to be very successful in Rockingham County.
Thanks, Wayne.
Let me jump in, Doug, for a minute and expand a little bit so that the citizens understand a little bit about the New Hampshire House of Representatives. We have the 3rd largest legislative body in the English-speaking world. The only 2 bodies that are larger than ours are the United States Congress and the House of Commons. So the next closest, we have 400 representatives, and the next closest legislative body in states is Pennsylvania with 203. So we are truly the only completely citizen legislature left in the country. And for those of you that don't realize it, our pay is exactly $100 a year, and that pay was set up in the late 1800s and hasn't been changed since.
And it's in the Constitution.
And it's in the Constitution.
And minus
So-
taxes.
And so if anybody thinks that New Hampshire politicians are getting rich in government, boy, they got something to learn. Because, you know, literally our pay is $100. We don't get any stipends. We don't get any per diems per day or anything like that. So it is truly a labor of love to try and better the state of New Hampshire that we sit up here. And out of those 400 representatives, we also, this session, have the closest numbers between Democrats and Republicans that we've had since, I think they tell me, 1871 was the last time we had numbers this close. Right now, we have a Republican majority of 200 to 197, and there's 2 special elections out there. So that's why when we talk about split committees, all our committees this year are 10-10, except for the Finance Committee. And you know, it's been challenging, but it's also been a new experience for everybody, because we've never had to go through this before in all our lifetimes, or anybody that's still alive's lifetime. So we have nothing to go back on as to how it was done. So it's been very challenging, but we are getting the state's business done, and you know, we will continue to work and make sure that we do the work for the citizens. And I just also want to mention that we have 2 freshman legislators that were elected in Londonderry back in November, and we will have them on also if they choose to come on at some future date, along with county commissioners, the sheriff, any of the counties, state senator. We will ask some of the town councilors to come on at some point, and we'll also bring in state officials, you know, at different times to talk about, you know, what their particular duty is. And as Doug said, hopefully we can get some presidential candidates in here as they're traveling the state.
Thanks, Sherm. I would add that when I was first running, I did meet with a couple of town councilors at the time, and one of them, their advice to me was, come to the town council meetings to see what's going on. And I took them at that advice, because as a state representative, yes, we represent Londonderry and our district. By the way, Londonderry is its own district, by the way. And we also represent the state. And by going to town council meetings, you get a flavor for when you might be able to help at the state level. And so my mantra has always been to be there as a concerned citizen, but to only interact when I feel as a state representative it's time that I can bring something to their attention or to help them out. I'm constantly asking the town council if there are any bills that you are aware of that you think are going to affect the town. Please let me know, because we cannot possibly know every bill that's coming before us. There's nearly 800 bills that are submitted every year. I only see public comment for about 30 or 40 of them in my committee, so we rely on other people to tell us what's actually going on. With that in mind, Tom, you've been on the town council. Can you relate to town council interaction with your state representatives and how we can be of assistance?
Sure. The local government it probably impacts our citizens the most. And, every tax dollar that that is spent locally comes through local government. The school department. I mean, when the band is playing, I mean, all those great programs are run by the community, either one form of local government or the second one, and the state reps like us are there to support and to provide additional help. Again, pathways for success. I'll give you a good example. Recently, we all met with the school board, and we brought forth the ability to provide assistance to the school department when it interacts with the state Department of Education, as we were looking at, along with Frank Edelbute, the ability to bring what we used to call in the old days industrial arts into the high schools. Because not every student is geared to a 4-year college degree. Some students might struggle with their algebra, but can build an engine like nobody else can, and those skill sets can be leveraged in the community with these programs that the state commissioner has promised, and I'm proud to say that based on our efforts, they've already met with the school board representation, and they're moving forward to look at how they can continue to leverage those assets at the state into our school district and help our students. That's one of the ways that we can help from the high school standpoint. We can do the same thing on the town council side. One of the great things about our community is, as you drive through the community, we have a problem in the nation with protecting our school students and teachers from the violence that has popped up around the nation. As you drive through our community, every time you go past a school, you notice a police car sitting in the parking lot of the school, and that's to provide a deterrent, so that when a bad guy comes by and decides he's going to do some harm to somebody, he has to first know that there's an armed protector there at that school. And that's something that we can thank the community, especially the town council, who have had the foresight to put those assets in place. And we can, from the state standpoint, look at are there ways we can even enhance that further. So I'm looking forward to providing that assistance.
Thanks, Tom. There you have it. This is really our first show. It's an introductory show to get you to know the four of us, and also Representative Lundgren when he comes here. We will be rotating times as being host. We will be bringing more in-depth discussions with the following shows as we go along with wherever the topic may keep us. This was just to introduce everybody to our show, Concord Conversations, and we have a few seconds left for some final words, starting with Speaker Sherman or Packard.
Well, I hope everybody will be able to sit down and watch and learn from the different people that we're going to be bringing on this show. I think it'll be very informative, and all we're trying to do with this show is to make you as informed as possible as to what's going on in the state, the county, and the town.
Wayne?
It's hard to follow that act. The speaker summed it up very well. And communications are very important between the community and those who seek to represent the community. Londonderry is a wonderful, large, diverse place. And while we try to get out there as much as we can, while we try to meet as many of you as we can, we also want to take advantage of electronic means to reach out and let you know what's going on. And also, we welcome your feedback on newhampshire.org, nh.gov. You can find our information on there under the General Court website. And many of you already have it, but we encourage you to call us and let us know of any concerns you have.
Thank you. Tom, last word.
There's nothing like giving back to your community, and what I started with is how to serve your community. Service can take many forms. It can be picking up sticks in the town forest. It can be helping pick up trash from the Beautify Londonderry efforts. It can be serving on a local board, umpiring at your child's Little League games. There are all kinds of ways of servicing your community. Or you can sit back and fuss about how things are going. I think it's much better to step forward, service the community, do good things for the community, and feel good about yourselves and your family in a great community like this.
Thanks, Tom. There you have it. This is our first show, Concord Conversations, brought to you by your four hosts sitting here today, and Representative Lundgren will be here when at the next showing when he's able. And we thank you for watching, and to keep in mind that we love Londonderry. We are working for you, and any questions you have, please, you can email me. And please, for getting a better understanding of what's going on, of how we do our work, we'd be glad to answer any of your questions. For now, thank you for viewing, and have a nice rest of the day.
The preceding program was produced by Londonderry residents. The views and opinions expressed are not necessarily the views and opinions of the LACTV staff or its volunteers and should not be considered an endorsement by CTV 20 or its staff and volunteers.